Hi, this is Peter, and this video is going to be a comparison between my application EVA and two other virtual assistants out there, one called Assistant and the other called Skyvi. These two applications have over 5 million downloads on Google Play now, so I consider them to be the leaders, at least in the number of downloads, whereas EVA only has about 400,000 downloads right now. Anyway, I am going to start out by just saying, with a virtual assistant, I think one of the most important things is how easy is it to access it. You don't want to have to be, coming and finding the icon or whatever to bring your assistant to the front. That's kind of annoying, and especially if you're in the car, you don't want to be able to have to do that all the time. With EVA, you can actually assign the home key to EVA, so when you double press the home key, EVA will come to the front. You cannot do that with either Assistant, although they say you can. I haven't been able to get it to work. And Skyvi, you certainly can't do that. Also, EVA has a dedicated car mode in which you can wave your hand in front of the proximity sensor just one time and it'll bring EVA to the front, and neither of those applications have that. So that's just basically the first little indication there of how easy is it to access your assistant. I think EVA wins hands down with that. So with that, we'll go on to the next thing. Okay, for this first test here, we're going to try calling somebody on their home number. So I'll just try calling my home number, and this is we're starting out with Skyvi here because Assistant can do this one okay. Call Peter at home.
I didn't find Peter at home. Can you please repeat or spell the name? Or you can say, cancel.
Cancel.
Cancelled.
Okay, so Skyvi can't do that one. Okay, let's see if EVA can do it.
Yes, Peter.
Call Peter at home.
To confirm that you want me to call Peter Muller's home number, please say, confirm, or, okay.
Cancel.
I have cancelled this call.
Okay, that's the other thing. EVA has an option there in the settings that allows you to get a confirmation prompt before dialing a number, so you don't accidentally dial somebody if you say something the wrong way. And although Assistant can handle the same requests, it doesn't have an option for call confirmation. It'll just go ahead and start dialing. Okay, so the next thing. Okay, let's try sending a text message. Text Peter, hey, what's going on?
This is the text we are going to send to Peter Muller on mobile number. Hey, what's going on? Is this right?
Yes.
Okay. The message is on the way.
Alright, so it's able to send that, but for some reason it put a space in between the what and the apostrophe S, which messed up the message a little bit, so I don't know, that's kind of weird. And the other thing I've noticed too, if you go out here and you look in your messaging, there's no indication of that message going out. You'll see here it is coming back in, but there's no indication of it going out. So Assistant doesn't keep a record of what you're doing when you're actually sending messages out. That's kind of lame. Alright, next one. And with EVA.
Yes, sir.
Text Peter, what's going on?
Your message has been sent to Peter Muller.
Okay, so as you can see, no fuss, no muss, it's gone and sent. So if we go back and look in my messages there, you'll see there it is. That puts a copy there and it's already come back in, so that works. Okay, let's try scheduling an event. Add new event, lunch next Thursday at 12:30 p.m.
Before we do anything, let's get you logged in.
Okay, for some reason, and I don't know why, Assistant needs you to log into your Google account just to save an event, and I don't know why it does that, because it should be able to save it to your local calendar, which automatically gets synced to Google. So I'm not going to bother doing that right now. Okay, I didn't even bother trying to add the event on Skyvi because it doesn't even know how to add anything into the calendar. So let's go ahead and try it on EVA.
Yes, Peter.
schedule lunch on Thursday at 12:30 p.m.
Please give me the name of the next attendee you're done.
Complete.
Lunch on June 13th at 12:30 p.m. has been set.
Okay, so with EVA, when you schedule something, it will look at what you've given in the initial request, and then it will ask you for the rest of the information. So if you wanted to add attendees, it initially prompts you for that, and then it will ask you for duration and ask you, if you want an alarm and how long beforehand you want it set, and if you want it to be recurring. It asks you a whole bunch of different things. And at any time there, you can say complete or finish event, and it'll basically just save that event, or you can say cancel. So you've got a lot of different options there, and that saves it right into your calendar. And if you've added an attendee or any attendees, they automatically get an email notification via the Google Calendar to invite them to the event. So anyway, that's how that one works. So like I said, I'm not going to bother trying this one for Skyvi because they don't have this functionality. Okay, now let's just try a reminder, see how that works. They say they have reminders in this, but they're in beta, so we'll see how it goes. On Sunday at 4 p.m, remind me to walk the dog.
Just a few more seconds. I am setting this reminder to walk the dog at 4 p.m. on 7th of June, 2013, Friday. Is that right?
No.
Okay, I won't do anything just yet.
I hate the way the dialogue keeps popping up, it's annoying. So you see there, it actually tried to schedule it for Friday instead of Sunday, so they've got some problems with that. So this feature is not really reliable right now. And also what's interesting is if you do go ahead and approve that, it goes and saves it, and I guess I didn't look to see, probably in the calendar, but you don't need to log into Google Calendar to do that. So they're saving the calendar events are being saved in Google Calendar, but the reminders are being saved somewhere else. That's kind of weird. I don't know why they just don't put them in the same place. Alright, on to the next one. Okay, poor old Skyvi's not getting very much of a run right now. Now, as far as I know, this is the help that everything that it can do, and nothing here says reminders and that, but if we look in the advanced features, I don't see anything there about reminders. But what's interesting is the last option here says try to find everything that I can do. So let's just give it a try and see if it understands that reminder. On Sunday at 4 p.m, remind me to walk the dog.
That is my favorite day of the week. Do you often use a computer there?
Okay, this is what really annoys me about Skyvi. When it doesn't have the answer for what you're actually trying to do, it tries to make small talk conversation with you, which is just really annoying. I mean, it should just tell you straight up, I can't do that. And I don't know, it's just frustrating and annoying, so I'll give up on that one. Okay, and with EVA?
Yes, sir.
On Sunday at 4 p.m, remind me to walk the dog.
Please choose the best match for your reminder.
Okay, so the voice recognition, I've got it set to come back with up to 4 different matches in case, it hears something different in what you're saying. In this case, it's got remind me to walk the dog or remind me to walk the dogs, and you can choose the one that you want. So in this case, the first one was right, so I'll just tap on that.
Your reminder walk the dog on June 9th at 4 p.m. has been set.
And it got the date correct. And the other thing that EVA can do with reminders, not only can it do time-based reminders, it can do location-based reminders, and I'll show you that a little bit later, but neither Skyvi nor Assistant can do location-based reminders. Okay, let's try navigating. Navigate to the nearest McDonald's.
Here are your directions to McDonald's. Make sure you check the route before you leave.
Okay, so you see with Assistant, it's not smart enough to just activate Google navigation it's basically taking you through this step where you have to maybe, well, probably in this case, make an adjustment, because it took the apostrophe out of McDonald's there, which is going to probably mess up the search. But now you have to come and press get directions, and then when you've got directions, you're probably going to have to choose which one that you want, and then you're going to have to hit the navigate button. So there's 2 or 3 more steps that you have to put in there just to get it to start navigating to where you want to go, which, you know, if you're in the car, that's really awkward. You're taking your eyes off the road and your hand off the wheel to do that. So I would say that's kind of a bit of a fail. Okay, let's try navigating using Skyvi. Navigate to the nearest McDonald's.
5 results found. McDonald's, 9.9 miles away. You can say navigate, call, or next.
Navigate.
Navigating.
Okay, yay, so it's able to do it. But it did require an extra step there, although it gave me the choice, so some people might prefer that. Anyway, it's waiting for the GPS, so we'll just cancel that. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a feature that all 3 applications have, is reading your text messages. So in the settings here, you can come in here and turn on the read SMS option. But one thing I want to show you here is once you've got that on, so let's see, back out of that, let's say you put your phone in silent mode. So you've got it reading your SMS, but you want to put your phone in silent mode because you've gone into a meeting or something like that, all right? And let's try sending a text message now, and we'll see what happens. Text Peter, what's going on right now?
This is the text we are going to send to Peter Muller on mobile number. What's going on right now? Is this right?
Yes.
All right. I am sending this message. A new SMS just arrived. Should I read it to you?
Yes.
Here's your new text from Peter Muller. Text, what's going on right now? End of message. Would you like to respond?
No.
Sure. I'll keep it with your other messages if you need it later.
Okay, so what happened then? First of all, I put my phone in silent mode and it started still talking to me out loud, which is kind of stupid. I mean, I wanted my phone to be in silent mode, and there's no option in the settings that allows you to obey the silent mode. And of course, when this text message came in, I didn't even have a chance. I was going to put it to the home screen, but Assistant automatically comes to the front. So if you're in the middle of doing something else, that's really annoying. She's going to come right to the front and start talking, even with the phone in silent mode. So literally, if you wanted to use that function, every time that you wanted to go somewhere quiet where you didn't want it to be doing that, you'd have to go in there and turn off the SMS feature, which is just unacceptable. So anyway, we'll go on to Skyvi. Okay, I've turned off the read settings in Assistant, and if you in Skyvi here you come to settings, you'll see here always speak incoming SMS and pop up on new SMS. So this one has a little dialogue that pops up. So I'll do that and hit done, and then I guess I'll go out to EVA and send a message from EVA, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we're in EVA here, and just so you know, when Assistant read that last text message before, it didn't bother to mark it as read, so it's still showing up there in the notification bar as read, and I can pull it down and see there it is there. So I'll clear that out. So here we are. I'm going to send the text message from EVA, and Skyvi is going to be the one that's going to read it. And again, my phone is still in silent mode, so let's see how EVA responds to that. Text Peter, what's going on right now, Peter? Okay, so there's Skyvi. Okay, so Skyvi pops up okay, and it's obeying silent mode, so it's actually working good. But you know, it comes up right to the front there, and I guess I could probably hit reply there and do as a reply, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to reply, but it's got a manual mark as read button here. I'll press that and see what happens. It's still showing up there in the bar. That's weird. It's cycling through messages there. Anyway, it's still left it there as unread, so that's kind of weird. But at least it was obeying silent mode, so that's better than what Assistant was doing. Okay, and actually I've just gone in to try and clear out those 2 text messages that Skyvi marked as read, or tried to mark as read, and I can't clear them out now. It's basically stuck in the bar there, showing that it's not read. And I went in there and read them and everything, and they're still showing as not read, so I don't know what it's done. It's kind of locked them and messed it up. So anyway, let's see what happens when I've turned off Skyvi now, so Skyvi's not reading messages, and we'll turn it on for EVA. And probably the easiest way is just go into settings here, go in the text messaging section, and you've got all these different options with EVA, so you can choose just to speak the message out loud, speak and prompt for a reply. You can have it whisper, in other words it reads it in the background, EVA won't come to the front. And then again, anytime you see a prompt, it's going to ask you if you want to reply. Display, it just shows it on the screen. Notified tells you there's a message, and will prompt you to hear it, and then notify and prompt will do the same thing, but then it'll also prompt you to reply, and then obviously the last one is ignore. So I'll choose this notify and prompt, and let's try sending a message here. Text Peter, how is your day going? Okay, so notice again with the phone in silent mode, it's obeying that in terms of not talking while I'm interfacing with it, and there's an option that you can do to turn that on and off. So if you don't mind it talking when you have your phone in silent mode, you can say don't bother obeying the silent mode setting. But with text messages, you also have a separate option to do that. So what's happened now is I've got that turned on, and actually you can see that in the settings there, when silent mode, hold messages. Okay, and so it's holding that text message right now. So if I take my phone out of silent mode, then any text messages that have come in, it'll start asking me if I want to hear them. So let's just try that now. I'll take it out of silent mode. Takes a few seconds, so it gives you a chance if you wanted to do something else, so it doesn't just jump on top of you and start yelling at you.
New text from Peter Muller. Would you like to hear the message?
Yes.
How is your day going? Would you like to reply to this message?
Yes.
New message to Peter Muller. Go ahead.
It's going great, thanks.
It's going great, thanks.
Done.
Your message has been sent to Peter Muller.
So there, it actually allows me to add further sentences onto the message. Now I've got it in the home screen, and you'll see even with the screen off, you'll see
text from Peter Muller. Would you like to hear the message?
Yes.
It's going great, thanks. Would you like to reply to this message?
No.
Okay.
So there you see, you can actually have it read your messages even with the screen off. It doesn't have to come to the front because of the option that I chose. So that basically saves your battery or whatever. So if you're in the car or whatever, it doesn't have to turn the screen on, and doesn't have to pop up to the front with a dialogue the way Skyvi does, and it doesn't have to bring the application to the front the way Speak to It does. They don't have any choices there. That's just the way it works for those, and you're pretty much done. Whereas with EVA, you have all sorts of different ways you can have it operate. And notice too there that after it read that message, that it's marked it as read. It's no longer showing there because it actually read it out to me. If I didn't have it read, it would just leave it there as unread, so I can come back in and see the ones that I haven't had read yet. So it's much more powerful for reading your text messages. Okay, I'll do one last feature here, do some math calculation just to show you the difference. Calculate 25 times 18.
25 multiplied by 18 equals 450.
Add 67.
I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with that yet. I'll have to learn more about it.
Okay, so it only understands a single math request at a time. So let's go on to Skyvi. Calculate 25 times 18.
How old are you?
Again, just this ridiculous conversation mode. It may as well just say blah blah blah, because it's just pointless. And so obviously it can't do that. Okay, let's see how EVA does.
Yes, Peter.
Calculate 25 times 18.
450.
Add 67.
517.
Divide that by 7.
73.85714.
Okay, you can see there it basically goes hands-free, and just you could keep going with the particular calculation. So if you're adding up a bunch of numbers or doing some extra math or whatever, you could just keep sort of going and working like you do normally with a regular calculator. So it's much more intelligent. Okay, now I'd like to give you a bit of just an overall summary of what I think with Assistant. So the way I evaluate different applications, whether they be an Assistant or something else, is to look at, first of all, what help is included with it, and secondly, to see what settings can be adjusted. So let's just start out again, we'll look in the settings here, because the number of settings is usually, to me, an indication of how powerful the application is. If there's a lot of ways of adjusting it to suit the way you want to use the application, then obviously it's going to have a lot more power and it's going to be a lot more usable, because you can customize it to your needs. So with Assistant, these are basically all the settings here. So you can upgrade to their premium thing, which is basically the same price as EVA. It's $20 for lifetime, or it's $3 a month if you want to pay that. Their conversation mode, I guess it's the same as what Skyvi has, where you can just chat with it, and EVA doesn't have a conversation mode. Personally, I think it's a waste of time trying to chat with a bot. It's just pointless. Voice activation, that's so you can activate it with a "Hey Assistant" phrase, and apparently that's in beta. I haven't tried that, so I can't tell you how well it works. A shake activation, that's something that EVA has as well. The read SMS, we already showed you that, and the share with friends just sends an email. Voice is where you can choose which voice it actually uses, and EVA, you can use any third-party voice with EVA. Activation here, you can adjust the shake sensitivity, and EVA has the same option. Start from the status bar, puts an icon up the top there so you can bring it to the front. Well, you don't need that with EVA, because you can double press the home key, or you can use the proximity sensor that I'll show you in a little bit. And there's the voice activation that I was talking about, and the Bluetooth. And I tried their Bluetooth, and they don't have it working correctly yet, and they say they're experimental. They've still got some work to do with Bluetooth, whereas EVA works fine with your Bluetooth headset, at least for the majority of headsets. Okay, and then keep going back in here. Customization, you can index your contacts and change the appearance, and Assistant has several different language options, whereas EVA only has English, although with a recent release I've made it so EVA can do all your different messaging, text messaging and email and such, can do all that in a different language if you prefer. So you can have English as your your language that you use to communicate with it, or you can do all your messages in your native language. So this is kind of an advantage, that they can have native in other different languages. It's just out of the scope of what I can handle right now, unfortunately. And then the next thing is notifications, the reminders. Once you've created those reminders, you have two options there. You can either list them all, or you can delete them all. You can't delete them one at a time. That's kind of weird. Schedule briefing allows you to set it up so a certain time of the day, in the morning, it'll read the news and tell you what's on your agenda. And with the scheduled actions that you can do in EVA, you can do that and a whole lot more. If you wanted to have it read a news feed, you can actually set it up to monitor Twitter accounts for the news organizations, and the daily news will come in the minute it breaks, which is far more powerful than getting it just in the morning. Friends' birthdays, EVA can handle that as well via your Facebook or Google Plus accounts, whereas I think this one you actually have to put your friends' birthdays in there in order to have it read them out. And mental push-ups, I guess it's some sort of quiz game that they put in there. EVA doesn't have anything like that. And I think that's everything else in there. So there's not a lot of things to adjust in there. And if we go into the help there, you'll see it has a bunch of different things that kind of describe the different options there. And it goes over what it's capable of doing, and that's what it should do. And I think they've done a fairly good job of documenting it. Like, for example, performing tasks. If you wanted to, let's see, organize your calendar, it tells you how to add a new event and gives you an example, and that basically works fine. And I think they've done a reasonably good job on how this works. So anyway, that's a summary of Assistant. Okay, this is going to be a summary of Skyvi, and this is kind of a little bit shocking here. So we go into settings, and this is all they have for settings in Skyvi. So just to let you know, it doesn't do a lot. You can add your Facebook account, add your Twitter account, and EVA has both of those, as well as Google Plus. You can adjust what nicknames that you have for your different contacts in there. You can turn on the feature so it speaks your incoming SMS and also has the pop-up for SMS. And then you have an option there that puts Skyvi in the notification bar, which really doesn't do much. And then SMS confirmation time, where it times out. And that's basically all you can do with the settings. So like I said, in my opinion, if it doesn't have a lot of settings, then it doesn't have a lot of functions. So that's kind of indicative of that. And in terms of the help, press this button and this gives you the features. So it can read your text, find places, call somebody, send a text, do a real voice text, and I'll show you that in a second. Learn your name, which I don't know why it needs to learn your name. Well, I guess to call you a name, but EVA does that too. And your advanced features in there, which is not really a lot. You see there's only a handful of different things. And the last thing, like I said this before, try to find everything I can do. I mean, do you really want to sit here just talking at this thing for hours on end to try and figure out if it could do anything else? They should document exactly what it can do, and if they've already documented everything it can do, then it doesn't do a lot. So let's try sending this real voice text. Real voice text Peter. I'll pick that. Alright, so this is what is really annoying about this function, and I'm not even going to actually do one. I did one in a different video to show you in my AVX video, but basically here, if you want to send one of these voice texts, you actually have to press that button and hold it to send the message, which is just ridiculous, because if you're in the car and you want to send a real voice message, which is really, it's a useful feature if you're in the car, because voice recognition in the car with the noise and everything like that doesn't work as good as simply recording a voice message and sending it to somebody. But this, you actually have to hold that button in while you're recording it and let go when you're finished recording it, which is just ridiculous, having to hold your finger on the screen while you're recording a message in the car. It's stupid. Anyway, I'm going to show you how EVA does it, and it's much better. So anyway, that's basically a summary of Skyvi, and in my opinion, for 5 million downloads, it's a joke, and everybody who's raving about how great it is, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, before I go into summarizing EVA for you, I want to show you some features that EVA has exclusively that none of the other applications have. So let's first of all try a location-based reminder.
Yes, Pete.
When I get to Walmart, remind me to buy milk.
Your reminder buy milk when you arrive at Walmart has been set. Please be sure to leave your GPS on.
Okay, so I've pre-configured Walmart as a location, and you can set up as many locations as you want that you use, so you could have one for home and one for work, and places that you go to on a regular basis. Maybe you want want to have one for Lowe's or something, because oftentimes if you're going to Lowe's to pick up something, you're not sure when you're going the next time, and so it's really cool to have a location-based reminder. You just say, next time I go to Lowe's, remind me I need to get paint or something like that, and then you can forget about it until you actually arrive there, and you'll get the reminder as you're driving up. Eva will say, we're getting close to Lowe's, I'm reminding you to get paint, and as you pull into the parking lot there, it'll say, it looks like we're at Lowe's, remember to get paint. So that's kind of a cool feature that the other ones don't have. Now let's try doing this voice message feature.
Yes, sir.
Voice message Peter.
New voice message to Peter Muller. Go ahead.
Hey Peter, let me know if this message comes through okay. Alright, thanks. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag there because it has to activate the 4G connection, or at least the mobile data connection, to send the message, so it wants to make sure that that's there first. So it'll come back through here, and I'll see, actually I'll put it back on the home screen so you see what happens. Even turn the screen off.
Sending the message.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a lag on my data connection, because it goes out through your mobile data connection, and my 4G was really slow yesterday, and it's obviously the same today, so it's not performing very good, but yours will probably go out fairly quick. Okay, so the SMS application lights the screen up briefly as the message comes in.
New voice message from Peter Muller. Would you like to hear the message?
Yes.
Hey Peter, let me know if this message comes through okay. Alright, thanks.
Would you like to reply to this message?
Yes.
New voice message to Peter Muller. Go ahead.
Now I'll just cancel this. Normally it's not this slow. It's because like I said, the mobile data connection is just, I don't know, really dog slow for me right now where I am. I'll just cancel that. Alright, so that shows voice messaging, and basically you see you can do it completely hands-free, and it sends an MMS message with an audio file attached to it, and if somebody has their phone that's running EVA, will automatically read it for them, and any other phone they can just tap on the message and it'll start playing, and if anybody sends an audio message as a reply, it'll automatically read it out just the way it did then. So that's basically that function. Let's talk about car mode. So if you go into car mode here, and the first thing I want to do,
Yes, Pete.
disable Facebook.
Facebook is off.
Okay, because I had Facebook on in car mode, and will probably start reading Facebook messages like it always does when I've had it off in the regular mode. So in car mode you can basically slide through these different screens, and you have different options to do things, and the ones with stars are all custom things that you can basically assign different commands. Any command that EVA understands, you can assign it to a button. So like if you're driving along the road and you want a button that's going to text your wife, I'm running late, or whatever, you want the weather read out, the temperature, or whatever, you can assign buttons, so you don't have to necessarily mess with the
Please say the new actual command or phrase you want me to assign to this button. For example, what's the weather? Say cancel if you don't want to assign a new command.
cancel.
I have cancelled this request.
I accidentally tapped on that one. So you see you can assign those custom ones there to do whatever you want, so that's kind of cool. And there's an option here to keep the screen on, and to activate the wake mode where it's listening. I'll show you that in a second. And then play music, and these three controls here work with the Google Play Music, and if you don't have that selected in the settings, that you can just play off the regular music player, or the one that actually comes included, and just plays in the background. And of course you've got your calls options here as well. So one thing that's cool about this car mode is if, say you're driving along in your car and you might be on another screen or whatever, maybe you're navigating or something, and maybe the screen's off or whatever. Whoop, let's not do that. Let's turn the screen off. You've got the wave your hand in front to bring EVA to the front, so let me show you that.
Yes, Peter.
What time is it?
It is 3 p.m.
So you see EVA just comes right to the front when you wave it in front, or even if the screen's off or it's on another application. And like I said, none of the other applications have that. And even Robin has this function, but Robin it only works when Robin is on the front and the screen is on, which is kind of pointless because you may as well just tap the button. You know. So anyway, that's a much better feature having that. And then of course you also have the wake mode function here, which you can turn on from here if you're in car mode, or you can go to the menu here and you can turn that on, and you'll see what ends up happening here is the button here will go dark blue when it starts listening for the wake up phrase, and you'll also get a notification up the top. You'll see there it says I'm listening up there. So you could be on another screen and you could have the screen off, and I'll show you how you bring it to the front here. Just wait a second. Hey Android.
Yes, Peter.
Okay, I'll just cancel that. So as you can see, hands-free, you can bring it to the front, and you know when you're finished conversing with it, it goes back into that listening mode, and you see it's back listening again, and it tells you what it's listening for, and there's all sorts of options you can turn that on and off. So let me just turn that off again now. Just tap on that, and it goes off. And it should turn it off. I believe it should be off. It's not showing up on the bar anymore. Okay, so let me show you some other things here. Talking about the documentation, if you go into the help,
These are the help categories.
Actually, let me go out of car mode here so you can see more. So here's the help that you have here, and you have a quick start menu here. Let me show you that quickly and then we'll come back to the help. So in the quick start,
tap on the topic for quick start examples.
here you have all the different
These are just
categories.
the easiest way to do things and by no means the only way.
All the different categories of the different functions that you can do, and within each of those there's example syntaxes of the different commands that it understands. So you see here, and this is what I was saying before, if there's a lot of different features in here, it means there's a lot of power. These are all the different phrases that it understands with respects to calendar. You know, so you can display your calendars for a certain date and time. You can set up events. You can schedule different regular events. You can open your calendar, display your reminders, ask what's next, what's on your agenda for a certain date and time. You can move or reschedule certain events, or you can cancel events just with phrases, and that's way more than any of the other assistants do. And it's the same when you go through any of these different categories of the different functions you can do. You know, like for your instant messaging, there's all different stuff you can do with instant messaging. And the other applications don't even have instant messaging. And here's your math function that we did before, and you can see how you can do calculate, add, and it shows you the basic syntax of how the phrases are. And this is not the only way to say it. This is just the quickest way to say different things. It understands a lot more than just these ones. And you see up the top here, you have the key to the syntax here, which shows you, which explains what the different brackets and stuff mean. I won't go into all the details. You can read that. So that's basically the quick start. But again, if you go back to the help, you'll see
the following help categories are available.
There's links to a tutorial that will walk you through automatic tutorial. There's links to my YouTube, and then you have an FAQ, and then you have all the different categories. And within each of those categories, so like if we wanted to go back to maybe calendar again, you can open up that category and you can see all the different detailed items about that. And I've documented everything. So creating calendar entries, you can read here in detail. I've given examples and stuff and explain everything that you need to know. So if you're wondering about, you know, how something works in detail, you don't have to guess. I've literally explained everything for you, just to make it much easier. So full documentation available there. So that basically is how the help works, and you can tap on an item to hide it, and you can tap on a category and then to hide it, so you don't have to go back and forth. You can leave something open if you want, scroll down to the next one. And then with respect to the settings, when you go into the settings here,
your settings are displayed. Tap on a category to make changes.
This again is just an indication of how many different features there are in this. So there's a whole profiles function, and here's a separate video that I have of that. But basically with profiles, you can have a profile for your default. You can have one for home, one for work, one for night, one for in the car, one for when Bluetooth is connected, and there's a whole bunch of default ones that are there. Another one for when you have a wired headset connected, and you can have it automatically switch between profiles, or you can switch between profiles. And then once you're in a particular profile, you can come into the settings here and you can adjust pretty much everything that's in any of these categories. You can adjust it, and the adjustment is per that profile. So if you adjust it when you're in the default profile and you haven't adjusted it specifically for another profile, then it takes whatever's in the default. But if you've gone into that profile and then switched to that profile, then come into the settings and made an adjustment specific to that profile, then it makes that change for that. So you could have like your work profile, you say, okay, I don't want it to read my text messages, so you switch to your work profile, come into text messaging and set text messages to ignore, and then you switch back to your default profile and it's back to reading your text messages again. So infinitely powerful there with how you can configure your phone to do all the different things. And as you see here, the different sections, interface has all the different options that you can have, with the beeping and proximity sensor and the look of it, and there's options for swiping left and right. And then you've got your device section here. You can have it turn Bluetooth on and off, and you can have it keep your screen on, your screen lock on. You can have it adjust your orientation. So if you prefer to have it in portrait mode or landscape mode, or you want it automatically, you can do that. There's options for calls and audio, miscellaneous. I won't go through all of them, but basically everything that the software does, if there was a way or if there was a need that somebody might want to change it to have it operate a different way, I've created an option for it. And again, like I said, all those options are profile dependent. So the other features that EVA can do that the competition can't do, I've already shown you the voice messaging. Instant messaging, it can basically handle your instant messaging via Google Talk and some other XMPP instant messaging accounts. It can read your Google Plus feed as well as be able to post to Google Plus. Same with Facebook and same with Twitter. And you can choose which different users you get your messages from, so you don't just get them from all of them. That might be annoying. You might want to only get messages from certain people. You can store all your memos and lists and diary entries in Evernote if you want. And then of course we talked about car mode, and I'll show you. If you go into car mode, you have a bunch of different options there. You can have it automatically come on if you have a car dock. You can have it automatically switch the wake up mode on, automatically have the screen always on, proximity activation, that's so you can wave your hand in front. You can choose there which player handles those play buttons on the media screen or music screen. Adjust your font size, and this is new now. You can automatically save your location when exiting car mode. So if you pop out of car mode, it'll automatically save your location, and then a little bit later on you can say where did I park my car, and it'll come up and it'll tell you not only where it parked it and show it on a map, it'll tell you how long ago you parked it and how accurate to within however many yards or meters that the GPS fix was accurate. And then the last option here, exit car mode when muted. So that's one thing I like to do, have it in the car and running in car mode, and then you get out of the car, maybe you're going into the store somewhere and you don't want your phone reading out your Facebook or text messages or whatever. So the first thing I do is basically just switch my phone into mute mode, and that automatically takes it out of car mode, which is cool because it takes off the proximity sensor setting, so it's not going to activate by waving your hand or moving anything near the proximity sensor. But it also activates this thing to save the location, so I don't even have to do anything. It automatically saves where I left the car. It was the second I put it into mute mode if it was in car mode already. And then of course the wake mode function in there, you can adjust what the wake up phrase is, you can choose whether or not the notifications of what it's hearing show up in the bar there, and you can actually, there's extra wait functions that allows you to just say straight up phrases like call somebody or enable something or disable something without having to say the wait phrase first. And then there's a let go phrase there. If you want it to let go of the microphone briefly, you can just say let go, and it'll allow you to use the microphone for another application. And then you've got a couple of different enable options there to have it automatically come on or off. So that pretty much covers everything, I think. And so as you can see, there's a lot more that comes with EVA than you get with the other assistants, and it's just beyond me that both of those other assistants have over 5 million downloads, and poor old EVA just got over 400,000 downloads the other day after almost 2 years of being on Google Play. So anyway, I'm hoping that we get some more people downloading it, because I need to get the downloads in order to be able to keep this project moving along and be able to add new features. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know, and please tell your friends and help spread the word. Thanks very much for watching.